We are back with another Wuthering Waves video. We're Wuthering playing Wuthering Waves. It has been a long time since I've recorded a video off stream, just yapping about some meta stuff without my chat yelling at me, right? So we're going to try to stay focused and lock it in. I wanted to address the current banner that we have right now, which is going to be Yinlin, Xiangli Yao, and their two weapons. I believe this is the first time we're having a double banner at the moment, where both 5 stars are at the same time, along with both their weapons, right? However, I'm going to give you the quick TLDR on my take. Obviously, this will probably kill engagement, but I'm not trying to leave any fluff. We're going to break down the intricacies of the characters as quickly as possible, but also why I think, realistically, I think you should be skipping. Xiangli Yao is as close to a T0 unit as possible. You could make an argument that he might even be on the level of Jinsei Camilla. Genuinely, he has built-in AoE. He's very easy to use. He's just overall, he works in multiple team comps, hyper carry / quick swap. He's really great. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you told me I want a main DPS right now and I want to be Xiangli Yao, I would not judge you for pulling him. I really wouldn't, because he is just genuinely very solid. And then obviously Yinlin, while she's not a main DPS, she is still good in the sub DPS category. She can give you good off-field damage. Her Forte circuit isn't too hard to really build up if you understand how to use her and you don't mess up. But again, a lot of average players just don't understand all the mechanics. And she's overall not a bad pull. I mean, obviously she has a boba in her burst, but I believe if you already have Xiangli Yao, but you're okay not running Xiangli Yao, and with Yinlin, and you like the quick swap meta better, or you really don't need a sub DPS like that at the moment, I don't know if she's worth it. I'll break down the weapons a little bit as well towards the end. But my thought process, and I have nothing to base this off of, genuinely, I'm not even being facetious when I say this, my thought process is, with 2.0, we're going to see the meta shift. We're going to see things change, and most likely, based off the drip marketing, Carlota is going to be the first one. We are lacking gun using DPSs. That DPS is probably going to be broken, and is going to be catered to in the video game for the first couple patches, right? And so I think that personally, you are better off saving. Now, by the time we have 19 days on this banner, right? So before this banner expires, if you're patient and you're willing to wait, we could wait until official information releases from Carlota and people to really analyze it, including myself, and figure out, okay, how is this person going to work? What are they based off of? Whatever the case may be. So my genuine opinion is to wait. Is to hodl, right? Like the crypto scammer says, to hodl. Don't be too crazy with your pulls. Just wait and see what happens. But now let's break down the character. So I would like to start with Xiangli Yao first. Xiangli Yao, again, as I said, is an amazing unit. There is some things that are a little bit concerning with him, but we'll go over that. But overall, he's very simple to use. It's very similar to Calchero, where he has to build in his Death Messenger state. He has to build up 5 stacks. He has to do that as well, but the thing is, it's not complicated to do. There's a time slow in each activation, including the activation of the burst itself, and all you have to do is normal attack with him to get this, and the burst time is long enough for you to quick swap with a character like Xiangli. If you're using Jinsei, I don't know why you would do that, but if you wanted to, go ahead. Your quick time, excuse me, your time on field with him is rewarded, and you don't have to stress as much where it's like, okay, like Calchero, I can't swap off, or I'm gonna run out of time instantly. It's really not the case. So he has absolutely little broed Calchero. You do need to worry about his attack. You do need to worry about crit damage, normal stuff there. I mean, the crit rate here, we got to bring it up a little bit. But the one thing I will say about him is Stenard, while it is not a bad weapon for him, and Abyss Surges, I don't have it on this account, is not a bad weapon for him, his best in slot is a very big damage increase. He scales off of Resonance Liberation, so all of his damage is based off of Resonance Liberation damage. So when you're maxing his talents, this is going to be the main thing you want to go for. Now, getting to gameplay, as I have said, I'm just gonna I'll talk about it while I show you. I think showing you is better. He does the hot swap stuff, right? So there's 2 types of ways you can play him. It is, again, either with Yinlin as a hyper carry. You use your support, whether it's Verena or Shorekeeper, intro in to Yinlin, get your buff, and then you outro, or intro, whatever you want to call it. You swap then into Xiangli Yao. When you swap into Xiangli Yao, you need to stay on field. you cannot swap anywhere else, because you will then lose the Yinlin outro buff. So I'm just gonna reset something real quick, right? So here we're gonna use this combination middle tower, and I'll just demonstrate to you real quick how the rotation works, just live in time, so you could see. We'll use Shorekeeper. I mean, you could use whatever. I personally am a bigger fan of Arena, but it doesn't matter, right? This is just to show you really quick what happens. Now, to address echo sets, I don't like this particular echo on him. I like the other one. I don't know which one it was, Temphis or Memphis, or I don't know. The one that does the 2 strikes, I'll find out the actual name of it when we swap out. I get confused by them. But the one that does the 2 strikes is the echo that you should be using on him. Lingering Tunes, although it is only viable if you're doing hyper carry. If you are trying to dabble a little bit in hot swapping, Lingering Tunes cannot assist you, due to the fact that Lingering Tunes, you need to stay on field. So I applied my E sidebar. I'm now going to attack 4 times. I apply my Forte. I'm going to burst, get as much damage out as possible. Now we Heron, swap out, and then we do our burst. Bam. So 126. Now, as you see over my Forte, I have that Yinlin buff. I cannot swap off. If I swap off, right, we're going to lose the buff. So I swapped off real quick, and you see for the last Hypercube, we no longer have that buff. So not a bad team at all by any stretch of imagination, and you probably get the highest personal Xiangli Yao damage out of this team composition. What I personally like to do, and this is why I'm saying Lingering Tunes is not recommended for this, because you will lose, is I personally like to run him in quick swap units with other characters like Xiangli. I find this to be the most fun. It's bursty damage. I will give you, again, a little preview. So as opposed to the normal 5 strikes, this is that echo that's on there. Obviously, we're not getting the full buff there. I'm just kind of waiting to kill time. But yeah, I mean, overall, he's still a great unit, and he does have free-to-play options as well. You can still run Yang with him. We'll get to that in a moment. So someone asked me about this in stream the other day, so I'm going to address it. I'm going to hit 3. Now, I have that little spike there, or that little buff from her, but instead, I'm going to burst first, right? I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. And then I could start doing this hyper carry stuff. I mean, excuse me, not hyper carry. The hot swap. Now, I don't use Shorekeeper for this personally. It's not my thing. I normally use Arena, so I know like we're losing a little bit of damage because I did the burst because the whole thing's not up. But that's not the point I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to show you how like a rotation would work. So you get this. You know, we're gonna get his outro, and then you do this swap here. We now have 4 stacks. While she's doing that, I swap back, and bam. Like, this is how I like to play the character personally. You know, I use a Xiangli skill. I'll use another one right now. I'll swap back to Xiangli Yao, and then so on and so forth. Swap back here. Bam. 1, 2. Like, that's how I personally enjoy him. It's just fun. I find that to be a more fun, interactive way to play as opposed to just main on fielding with, like, intro with Yinlin. And again, I'm also not the biggest Shorekeeper fan. I'm just keeping a stack. Again, I'm a Arena guy. It is what it is. But yeah, he has just so many great, you know, qualities about him. But even in that showcase with Scuff rotations, the damage would be a lot better with his signature. So if you are rolling for him and you say, listen, I'm unable to get his signature, the next best thing is to then focus on Abyss Surges. Now, his signature weapon at the moment is only really working on him. It's not really working on anyone else at the moment. Like, you could put it there for a stat stick or whatever they get. Like, if you want that thrown on Ling Yang, I guess. But, like, it's not really universal the way, like, Yinlin's is. And we'll get to that in a moment. But so, overall, he's still good. And, again, if we're looking at free-to-play teams, the great thing about this is, again, you can use Yang, right? So, you use Farina, Shorekeeper, whoever it is. Yang is such a valid option for him since his damage is purely based, or not purely, let me rephrase that, mainly based off of Resonance Liberation. Her outro skill is giving him, if you're a Genshin player, particles to get his Resonance Liberation up as fast as possible. 4 resonant energy per 5 seconds. So you're getting 20 resonance energy, right? So it helps with the ER requirements. And it just overall, it makes life a little bit easier. You know, it's a comfy team. Yang is good, and obviously if you have her at S6, you know, you get that attack increase to 20% as well, which is another massive W here. So Will Yinlin's outro objectively probably bring his personal damage up more? For sure. I don't even think that's an argument, unless maybe a theory crafter is going to prove me otherwise, which I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Like, but her Yinlin is made. Her Yinlin, her outro is made for him, but it is not required. There are alternatives. Yinlin, although I love Boba, which by the way, 119 over 213 is insane. This is my girlfriend's account. Actually, go to, by the way. Although I love Boba, the problem is that if you are not interested in Xiangli Yao, if you do not like hyper carry Xiangli Yao, or you just don't you don't like his playstyle, you don't want to use him, whatever the case may be, it's not that she is a bad unit. I demonstrated very quickly. You can get her forte up pretty much almost instantaneously. You do a couple 4 or 5 attacks, you burst, whatever, moonlit out of there. She gives very good sub DPS damage, but she's not really synergizing with anyone else at the moment, especially in the way her outro skill is working. You know, during the days of 1.0, people, including myself, were recommending you would use Rover, you would use Yinlin for that coordinated attacks, because I think it's like 18 or 17 or something. You would use Donja if Donja's main DPS. You know, they would go that route. But the game and the meta has developed, or even Xiangli, which again, I don't really like that with Xiangli either, but whatever. The meta has developed in a situation where I'm not going to say Boba. I'm not going to say she is hard left behind, because that would be disingenuous to say, because she's still a solid unit and can pump out solid damage when she's built. But I don't think she really has a place in the meta at the moment where I can justify someone saying, hey, let me pull Yinlin. Like, let me get this character so I can run it with, like, I don't know, my Gion, because you don't want to run it with Gion. You can run more Tefi or Alto. Camilla wants Sanho, or you can make an argument maybe want to use Donja for the amplification. Xiangli could run Xiangli Yao. You could even run Sanhua actually to get her stacks faster, or Jinxie. You could run Yinlin with Jinxie. My counter to that is this, and a lot of people are not going to like this take, but it's neutral. It's neutral. I learned from Mr. Pokey, right? You can get incandescence with her. I'll bring it into tower while I'm yapping. But my thing is, why not just use Yanu? Now, I know you're a little bit conflicted or constricted to, I should say constricted to Circle Impact. But even with being constricted to Circle Impact, I don't think it's as bad. Let me see. What floor was Jinxie on? Here, we'll do this real quick just to make life easy. You know, Yanu is not going to do anywhere near as much damage as Yinlin. What did my girl use here? She was Baiji. Oh shit, she liked that. We we'll keep Baiji there. Obviously Yanu is not putting out damage number, no Kobe numbers, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, or Curry numbers where he's doing a lot of damage. Like, no. Yanu is not here to be a damage dealer. When we talk about the sub DPS, and again, I'm not going to try to shit on Pride, but when we talk about like that hybrid combination, that hybrid channel, it's because this is genuinely a hybrid character, Yanu, where Yinlin is giving you that damage, but Yanu is free and is giving you Vibranium, whatever it's called, to bring the shields down faster, right? So I also personally am not a fan of having my incandescence tied to a Forte circuit. Now, obviously, this account has C1 or C2, whatever it is. So I'll obviously do this, but I don't like the fact of having it tied to a Forte circuit. Now, obviously, this Forte circuit buildup wasn't bad by any stretch of the imaginations, but when you have characters like Yanu when it's tied to a skill, or with Gigi where you can just get that burst up so fast, I don't know, man. And then also Gigi's outro skill legitimately is made for her. It's not my favorite thing. It's not my favorite thing. I'd rather use other characters in this situation, or if you're a free-to-play low spender, I would tell you to rather just save your money. So again, it's not that the incandescence energy is bad. You know, again, I'm going to build up a Forte right here. You know, the Forte is going pretty high and pretty efficiently, but Gigi's a better option, objectively, because of the outro skill. Yan was a very good free-to-play option. Yan was not putting up numbers, damage numbers like her, but so she's a little weird, man. She's a little weird. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think you should really pull for her. I was going to say Light Cone. Her Catalyst. Now, here's where we get into the interesting part. Now, again, I'm going to tell you, and I'm sticking with this stance, I think we should be waiting for 2.0. I think we should be waiting for more 2.0 information, more 2.0 showcases from gameplay, and just full kits and weapon choices. I'm not going to tell you to pull for String Master. String Master can work on Gigi. It obviously works on Yinlin. It can work on Encore. If you don't have Gigi, if you don't care about Encore, and you don't have Yinlin, I really don't know if this is the weapon for you. I'm going to move over here real quick. It says gains 12% attribute damage. When dealing resonant skill damage, increase the attack by 12%, stacking up to 2 times. Effect lasts for 5 seconds. When the wielder's not on field, increase their attack. Like, it's not bad. Like, this is not bad at all. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and try to lie to you and be like, oh, this is horrible. This isn't great. This is not good. But I just don't know if this weapon is worth your asterite when we have a whole new patch with a whole new cast of 5-stars coming out that are going to come out with their correct weapons, right? If a new 5-star Catalyst character is going to come out, they're going to drop a signature weapon for that Catalyst user. And at that point, you're better off just saving. So again, both characters are great. If I had to give you a priority list, go Xiangli Yao over Yinlin. If you have Xiangli Yao and you're like, do I go for his weapon or I go for Yinlin? I'm in the camp of the weapon because it's less pulls and it's guaranteed. But again, you might not like Yang Yang for whatever reason. You might not like the quick swap because that's a little too much. And because it is not something very easy for casuals to do, so you would probably go Yinlin instead. But again, me personally, I am 1000% recommending wait for Renacita and save your asteroid. I was about to say Primos. I'm a Koro. I'm a Hoyo bot. I'm a Hoyo shell. Pokey's really been rubbing off. Yo, that being said, I love y'all. Mwah. I'll see you in the next one. Also, giveaway. We're giving away a 5-star. I forgot to say that. Go check out my Twitter. I love you. Bye.